Hello everybody and welcome to the streets of Adelaide for round 6 of the Gripline Super Formula Light Championship, supported by Everything Simulated. Tonight we've had a schedule change, and that means that tonight it's a feature race of one 45-minute race. I guess the organisers hoping and making sure that we only have one start around here, just to keep things perhaps a little bit cleaner. What is already going to be a very, very difficult afternoon for everybody. Just 3 rounds to go now in this championship, and therefore 4 races as well. Kieran Potter very much in pole position to take this title, although there is still a lot of work for him left to do. Myself, Ian Leary, and Rhys Gardner comes for you here tonight. Rhys, good to have you alongside me once again. We've, as I say, had a schedule change which has put this circuit at a 45-minute race. I suspect to make sure we only have one start this evening, but nevertheless, it's going to be an intense day for the drivers as they primarily and first of all try and avoid incident and accident around this tight circuit.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure to be here once again with you, Ewan. Turn 8 in particular is one that we'll definitely be looking out for. Walls on all sides, no runoff. It's an incredibly fast corner up the back of the circuit. The first chicane at this track is also pretty much flat out in these cars. So we're going to be seeing some dramas on the start no matter what happens, I think. But like you say, we will only have to deal with one of them, and then it's up to the drivers to keep it clean throughout the 45-minute race, in which we are expecting a pit stop for everyone.
Indeed we are. We'll chat about that as we get on. These are the championship standings. Kieran Potter leading by 128 now after Brendan McConkie missed last week, but Potter couldn't extend his lead any further. Sebastian Eskandari's win got him to within 156 points of Kieran Potter. Tom Donoghue and Jackson Miano only separated by 4 points after they both had difficult evenings last week. Danny Davison, the only other driver within 200. Ryan Bell, Ryan Borg and Mark Hillier next ahead of Anthony Bate, the silver class championship leader. He's only 8 points in front of Tom McInnes after they battled for the win all day last week. Jack Munro is in between them. And Madeline McGee occupies the last spot inside the Australian Open Wheel National qualifying spots. That's to represent FDL at the end of the iRacing season, although Alex Stevens is only 1 point away from doing just that. And just behind Alex Stevens, Campbell Adams, the pole sitter from last week, who ended up finishing second, is in 15th position. Then Thomas Innes, then Craig Edwards, who's had a difficult season. Apart from his second place in the feature race at Miami, it's been pretty tricky for him. He's tied with Sam Mort, then Julian Sanese, Dan Ackland round out the top 20, and so on. So qualifying underway, and as I say, a very important day for anybody looking to catch up to Kieran Potter here. 100 points available tonight, so Potter knows he's going to be the championship leader by the end of the night, but we're effectively, for me now, looking at the next 2 rounds and thinking, well, are we going to have a season like last, or are we going to have a championship finale like we did for the first 3 seasons of this championship? Because effectively, with Kieran Potter's drop week being just 1 point, the others need to be within 101 going into that last round to have any sort of chance of winning the title. Now, that could very much be possible. I mean, Brody McConkie could be 27 points only behind Potter at the end of today because of his drop week. That does seem unlikely, but it could happen if Potter has a bad week. But as I say, they've got to focus, I think, on closing those 27 points over the course of the next 3 weeks to force a championship finale where historically in FDL we just never know what is going to happen on that last day with the championship leader. But can McConkie get that close? Can Eskandari get that close? I think he told us last week that he'd been missing some more rounds, so I don't think it is going to be him. And at the moment, McConkey is nowhere near up towards the front of the field. And indeed, I don't see him in this session at all at the moment, which is going to be pretty damaging for his hopes. But that's the target for me, and Potter has just got to stay consistent enough to make sure that they don't end up catching him in the next 3 rounds.
Yeah, and I think the aim for everyone outside of Potter is just to finish ahead of him as best they can. Be on the attack, try and force errors, do everything within their power and within the rules to make sure that they can close that gap. Currently, max boost 1 and 2 in qualifying. Campbell Adams on provisional pole. Sebastian Eskandari about 1.5 tenths back right now. It's amazing watching these cars go around this circuit at full attack pack in qualifying. There's quite a few corners around here where, you know, the usual suspects, the Australian supercars, would be lifting and braking through a lot of these corners. That is not the case for these Super Formula Lights. They are darty, small, and stiffly sprung.
I've just gone back into the chat actually and checked. Brendan McConkie was meant to be here today, but has had a flight cancelled as he was at the Bathurst 12 Hour this weekend, and so he can't get back as soon as was required to get home. Asking around for a sim he could use. I don't think he could find one, and yeah, that might well spell the end of his championship hopes, unfortunately. Which is a real shame, but these things happen. On board with Sebastian Eskandari then, as they get into the middle sector of this lap. I know maybe for those of you who watch the old F1 races, maybe around Adelaide or maybe other series as well, that this might not feel like the real Adelaide, if you like, but for me personally, this is the Adelaide circuit, if you like. I think this one's better than the old one, maybe controversial, and you know, relatively short, fits cars like this rather well. In slightly faster cars, turn 8 is one of the most, or turn 9, sorry, one of the most exciting corners in all of motorsport, I think, and some decent overtaking chances as well for a street track. It's just a wonderful place to go racing. Hope that tonight is going to do it justice here in this series, because I'd say it is a great circuit for racing.
Certainly is. A lot of hazards, though. The walls are the most obvious, but as we go around the lap, we can see the variety of different curbs that this circuit has as well. Oftentimes on the Exeter corners, they'll be wide and flat, not much to write home about, but the curbs are quite substantial. In the first chicane here, you'll see the cars bouncing over those curbs, and I reckon a misplaced wheel is certainly going to cause some dramas, especially considering the slowdown penalty you get for cutting across that chicane. The curbs are higher here in the middle sector, and the walls go right to the edge of the racetrack, so you have to be super precise and accurate with your marks. This apex curb right there is incredibly difficult. When you come down to the final sector, the curbs get a bit more variety. The left-hander after the hairpin has a particularly hard curb that I've hit many times in my personal testing. It ruins the lap every single time. Looks like all the drivers are doing a good job of avoiding it.
Yeah, indeed. We're walking a tightrope all night tonight around here, that's for sure. Sebastian Eskandari continues on. Personal best first sector for him this time round. We'll see what about the others. In fact, fastest overall sector, I should say. Jet Saragi moves up to 10th place. Nice improvement there. Tom Donahue can't quite improve, though not far away. So Eskandari is going to go close. Very close to pole, and it is pole by just under a tenth of a second. So Sebastian Eskandari leads this session now, and once again for the second week in a row, Max Boost just beginning to find some form in the second half of this season, and Campbell Adams especially starting to find some form here. Pole sitter last week, second place at the end of the race. It's going close to pole with teammate Sebastian Eskandari tonight as well.
Yeah, very good upturn in form from Campbell Adams. It was a pretty chaotic first half of the season, if I'm honest. Races like Miami in particular really put a spanner in the works in the drivers' standings. It's forced quite a coming together from drivers in the latter half of the season here, and like you say, Max Boost has certainly done a good job of getting around each other and getting a good fight going. Some nice teamwork going on, and pace is consistent among them as well, which is good to see. The next Max Boost driver behind our top two is Danny Davison, who is in P4, and then we have Kane Ryder in the top 10 as well, 7th place for him. Just 2 and a bit minutes left in qualifying. And the question is, can anyone get close to Adams and Eskandari? Potter is the one on the outside looking in. A 112.3 is his fastest. He wasn't even able to go that fast in practice, so he's in uncharted territory at the moment, just searching for that last couple of tenths.
Yeah, we'll see whether he's gone faster on his own in the past. I'd imagine so, but doesn't seem to quite have those last few tenths underneath him right now. The time is fast running out now. Not too many new, even personal best sectors actually coming through in these last couple of moments. Kieran Potter is another one of those, as First 2 sectors, no improvement, and that's it. That's got to be it, isn't it? With a minute and a half remaining. That's it for Potter. No better than third. Rihanna goes over the line and goes to 5th. This is a better qualifying from Jackson Rihanna, but is his season over? I mean, 179 points behind Kieran Potter. When you're looking at that margin that you've got to be within by the final race, he's looking at a 78-point gain in the next 2 weeks. That feels like a big ask.
Yeah, it's been a difficult last few rounds, especially for Jackson Rihanna. Spinning a few times last week at Monza really put him out of contention. Mark Hilly is on a nice run of form recently, was fighting for the podium at Monza, and certainly looking quick here today as well, currently rounding out your top 6. Be interesting to see what he does from here. Just under a minute to go in the session, and these are the last few opportunities the drivers have to make their way in and make improvements. Thomas Searle improves in the silver class as Hilly spins out of turn 7, and well, he'll have to wait a few moments to get that one spun around again.
That might be the end of his session now, I would imagine, with only seconds remaining. Jet Saragi has been one of the only ones improving here late on, as Rihanna goes over the line again, doesn't quite improve this time and stays in 5th. Looks like he's going to finish there as he goes off through the first chicane. Out of the final turn for Saragi, no improvement on any of the sectors here, so this is going to be 8th place, you would imagine. Oh, he moves up to 7th. He gets a very small improvement, and he gets over the line in time to go again. Iskandari goes over the line there, and that might have been the end of his session. I think it will be, but is Campbell Adams really going to improve late on here and take pole position away from him? Danny Davison didn't get to the line in time. Potter's in the pit lane. Rihanna and Hilly too. This is Madeline McGee coming up towards the line.
Adams just pulled over, and he's done as well.
Well, that looks like it's going to be pole then for Eskandari. Thomas Searle over the line as well, who was also at the Bathurst 12 Hour, by the way. A few of them posted a picture of themselves, an FDL group, making their way to Bathurst last weekend. I think Searle was one of them. He's managed to get home in time though, and 17th in this qualifying session. Looks like he's going to stay there as well. Really not very many actually out there on the racetrack at the moment. Saragi's going to be the last one, I think, to actually set a time that is going to count here, unless I'm mistaken. And over the line for Saragi. Does move up to 6th place, so moves ahead of Kane Ryder and Mark Hilly in the last 2 consecutive laps. And that's a good qualifying from Saragi to get into 6th position. But that is the end of qualifying. And very soon the race will be underway, but this start is something that everyone is going to have to be focused on intensely, because it is so tight through this first chicane. As I say, I suspect that the race starts were reduced, and hence this has become a feature round, but that doesn't make the start that we do have any less intense, I don't think.
No, you're right. It's a very open first corner in some respect. It's a fast chicane to start the lap, and pretty much no room to run side by side all the way through. We're going to be seeing at least a few cars making their way into that runoff area off the start, but hopefully it's clean.
Hopefully it is. Sebastian Eskandari will start from the front in a max boost 1-2 with Campbell Adams alongside. Kieran Potter is on his own for Proline with no teammates in sight. Danny Davison is there for max boost as well. Jet Saragi on that outside line, and Kane Ryder on the other side of the grid. It's Kieran Potter. It's Jackson Viana and Mark Hilly, the championship rivals from 2 seasons ago. Julian Sanese and Tom Donoghue round out the top 10. 11th place has gone to Ryan Bell and Alex Stevens, the last all-gold row, with then Dan Ackland on the pole for the silvers in front of Mark Keppel. First silver row is row 8, and Alexi Watson and Tom McInnes. Thomas Searle and Miguel Costa Texera is next ahead of Madeline McGee and Jack Munro, running out the top 20. Anthony Bate is 21st in front of Scott Bartine, with Ryan Borg and Tristan McLaren on row 12. Jackie Chung and Brendan Bonacci on row 13, ahead of Chris Little and Matthew Vince. Top Hawks and Marcus Knitska round out the top 30, with Nathan Burney rounding out the 31st position. I think our grid might be stuck. Hopefully we'll get that off the screen in time for the race. We'll just watch the race through that, There we go. But anyway, that's the grid for the race. The drivers are getting onto the grid very quickly here. In fact, Giuliano Sanese is the only one left in just a minute and a half. Everybody else has got themselves onto the grid and ready to go. So they're not waiting around to get going here for 45 minutes of racing. Of course, they're absolutely dead level on the roads here at Adelaide, and that makes the launch actually very, very important here. So the inside line given to those with an odd number of their qualifying position. And Sanese does go onto the grid and will be ready to go. So then, lights come on here from Adelaide in the third last round of the Gripline Super Formula Lights Championship here this season. Eskandari needing points. Gets underway from the front, although his teammate Campbell Adams gets off to a better start, and that's on the outside. Danny Davison gets off to a better start than Potter as well, although he's slowed up by his teammates. Oh, and it's a spin! It's a spin from Campbell Adams as he tried to take the lead there. He spins in front of the field. The rest of them take things calmly, and therefore they don't seem to pile in. It's a clean start for the most part, but Campbell Adams spins from second. That is disastrous for a driver in such good form in these last couple of weeks.
Cold tyres, too much curb at turn 2, and it was over for Campbell Adams. Hopefully he'll be able to get back up the field, but it's going to be a tough job at a track where it can be very difficult to pass indeed. There's some gains made for Jackson Rihanna. He's made his way up into third. Kieran Potter chasing Sebastian Eskandari down in second. Mark Hilly trying to defend there from Danny Davison into the hairpin. And we'll wait and see who comes out of it in front. It will be Hilly defending the spot.
Yeah, Hilly gets into fourth position as the top three scamper away because of this. Munro is dropping down the field quite quickly at the moment as well. So Campbell Adams and Munro and Bradley McGee actually seem to be the ones who've had difficult starts here as they've dropped down the field. But at the end of lap number 1, Sebastian Eskandari controlling this race from the front as he qualified on the pole position. He sets the fastest lap and indeed it gets away from the rest of the field. Pits of course can happen at any stage in this 45-minute race. Lap 1 is open for pit lane strategy. They can go all the way to lap 23 though if they want to. This is what happened to Campbell Adams on that opening lap as he just tucked in behind Eskandari. Little bit of curb, little bit of cold tyres, as you say, and he just about avoids the wall quite helpfully. But that was a big moment there, spitting through the second corner, and such a shame as well because he was running so well, and well, now he's dropped to the very back end of the field.
That he has. We've had our first retirement of the race in the meantime. It looks like Alexi Watson towing his way back to pit lane after hitting the rear of Tom McKinnon's in the first couple of corners at the start of lap 2. Other than that, we've had Tristan McLaren and Scott Bartine come through the pit lane, so their pit service is done for now. Madeline McGee also jumped into the pits at the end of lap 1 but has not come back out, so looks like some big problems for some of our competitors further down the field. For the moment, Mark Hilly having a great second lap. He's right on the back of Rihanna for the last spot on the podium.
Absolutely. This is harping back a little bit to season 3 of last year, where these two fought right to the death. And Jackson Rihanna, although he didn't know at the time, of course, was on his way to a row of second places in championships. He finished second last season as well, of course, looking for a title, but is nearly 180 points behind with just 3 rounds to go. Kieran Potter very much, I think, will be comfortable with this scenario, because Eskandari needs to gain more points per round than this, with 156 to make up. So although Potter is going to be losing points to one of his main rivals, and Eskandari would indeed be gathering some real momentum here with if he were to go on and win this, 3 wins in the last 4 races. However, Potter would still be comfortable in the championship scenario, and at the moment he looks comfortable with that second place in this race.
Yeah, he looks quite comfortable indeed. Not much to write home about. We are hearing that Matthew Vince and Ryan Borg have had crashes there, and Ryan Borg's just picked up a mechanical black flag side by side through the fast right-hander. Not ideal, but the incident actually happened down at the hairpin. Oh, it was very late for Matthew Vince, and he and Ryan Borg ended up getting locked together. Yeah, very strangely locked together as well, but open wheels can do that.
Also, Chris Little getting a meatball there. Vernie and Parks also with a meatball on this lap. Goodness me. It's all happening at the moment. Oh, dear. And so right, yeah, this is out of turn 13. Oh no! Goodness me! And that might be a safety car. If that car's still stuck there through the final turns, that might well be a safety car because, or a virtual safety car. We don't actually get Jimmy Peacock to actually drive anymore, but that could be a safety car. Let's see here. I don't even know who it is, to be honest, who's ended up going up over and over again. Oh, Jack Monroe is pinning the wall hard as well through turn 1. This circuit has bitten, although it wasn't lap 1. It has bitten, and everybody's in here. Oh, Senese's missed the boat. I think we're seeing a safety car here. We have not got official confirmation at the moment that this is a virtual safety car, but it has to be, surely. Senese has absolutely missed it, and it is a safety car. He's going so slowly. Do bear with us while the pictures break up. It's because everyone's in the pit lane at once. It will sort out. Eskandari gets himself out there first, then Potter. Brianna will be next. Hilly's dropping places here. Davison and Kane Ryder both get in front of him. Jetsaragi, Ryan Bell and Dan Ackland should round out the top 10 in a moment. That is very, very bad news for Senese, because he's completely missed pit lane here, either by design or by accident, and surely that's going to drop him a long way back.
Yeah, not ideal. So you see Nathan Verney going through there, and as the cars tried to get going from their incident, ultimately Verney was an innocent victim of all of that. Maybe the argument could be made that he could have slowed down a bit, but he surely wasn't expecting them to pull out in front of him like that.
Yeah, indeed. You know, you can very much say that, you know, he maybe should have slowed down, but I mean, you don't expect to have someone pull in front of you like that, so you can understand it as well. But there you go. Vincent Borg down towards the back end of the lead lap. There's so much having gone on in this race already. It's Verney and Parks who were the ones actually stationary there to bring out the virtual safety car. There we go. So, I'm not sure who's in control of that message, but anyway, it's now arrived. So virtual safety car deployed. Now, what does Senese do here? Because he can go another 19. When we go back green flag racing, I think he'll do 19 laps on fuel. He'll be able to make it another 19 laps on fuel. However, does he actually want to do that, or does he want to pit right now, as the two of them are still stranded there on the racetrack? Because if he pits right now, he's going to drop to the very tail end of the lead lap. So I think he should carry on. Yes, it's the worst strategy. It would have been better to come in last lap, but I think an even worse thing to do would be come in now.
Yeah, it's a difficult situation because, Senese on qualifying pace should be in the top 10 here overall. But his decision not to come into the pits now means that if he were to pit now, he would go to the complete back of the field, and then he'd have to worry about making his way around. Waiver rounds are being done at the moment. I believe that might be Madeline McGee that's being let go there. But yeah, it's a difficult situation for Senese to be in. If I were him, I'd just take it on the chin and keep going as long as I can. But then that invites its own level of risk, because you'll have all of the faster drivers behind trying to make their way past you. Well,
yes, but I think it'd be worth starting in the midfield where he was before. So swings and roundabouts. Alexi Watson's also going to be let through here, by the way. I'm not sure if Jack Monroe's going to get the wave around back onto the lead lap. He's only just got himself back out onto the racetrack. Verney is coming back out again, although he's already 2 laps down. Probably won't be let back through. But a real shame for a lot of these guys who are down the field now. Just wait and see whether Monroe gets waved past here or not. They're all still sticking to the left-hand side of the road. This could be a rather lengthy safety car. Somebody in the background weaving a little bit here. Just get a little bit wider here towards turn 9 on this racetrack. Of course, this is down towards Bramham Straight now, out of turn 9. I must say, I'm looking at a track map that goes straight from turn 9 being that last corner, and then turn 11 this corner. I'm not sure I should be trusting this track map very much. Anyway, this is Jack Monroe trying to catch the rest of the field. Oh no! Oh, and he's hit the wall as well. Well, let's hope that didn't do too much damage, because that isn't what you want to see coming out onto the straight.
Yeah, Jack Munro crashing for the second time in this race. Adelaide is evidently not agreeing with him. Virtual safety car should be ending now, and the field will come round to the final corner to get things started again. Good pit entries, I have to say, from everybody. I recall the 95 Grand Prix where David Coulthard got into the wall after...
Oh, no!
Sinise spun on the restart, and it looks like Kieran Potter pulling over there. There's some confusion going on back here.
Yeah, there's a lot of confusion as Eskandari thought, well, I'm the leader now, what do I do? 3 wide into turn 1, how is this going to work out with Hilly on the inside? It's somehow managed to survive. Saragi's got a small slowdown. He will have to serve that through the first sector. Wow, that was confusion for sure. Eskandari and Potter there didn't know what to do as the leader spun around coming out of the final turn, and well, I don't know what the right thing was to do. I think just to carry on would have been fine, but Davison didn't hesitate, and he's taken the lead now. I think he'll be allowed to keep that, because that was just heads-up driving from him there, as he just understood the situation immediately, didn't hesitate, and went for it. Now came riders all over the back of Kieran Potter, and suddenly the championship leader's in danger of losing 3 places here now. Down the inside for Kane Ryder, and through he goes into the top 3.
Oh, wow. That was a pretty disastrous restart there for Giuliano Sinise. Now it doesn't really matter when he pits. He's at the back of the field and looking to try and work his way up anyway. So at the end of this lap, we see Marcus Konitska pulling into pit lane, or towing into pit lane, with a mechanical black flag to his name too. And Danny Davison leading from Sebastian Eskandari by a couple of tenths of a second. A big gap back to this fight of Ryder versus Potter. And then Hilly and Bell are chasing hard.
Yeah, they certainly are. I think this battle for the lead is going to be quite short-lived between these two, to be honest, as Matthew Vince comes into the pit lane with a meatball flag seemingly on this lap, and Ryan Borg as well. As long as they've got their faster pair, they'll be able to get back into the race, but they would have been hoping that the last time they came down pit lane was the last time. But Marcus Konitska also with a meatball, so something has been going on down the back end of the field. But here comes Eskandari. Danny Davison lifts off towards the hairpin, and Eskandari now leads this race. Now this is a scenario that is much better for Sebastian Eskandari, as he at the moment would be gaining at least 27 points over Kieran Potter, with Potter down in 4th. It just shows that even when you've got a big championship lead, you can lose points quite quickly, especially when you're up the front of the field.
Yeah, especially when some confusion happens on a restart, something unexpected, like the lead car spinning out of the final hairpin, gassing it up too hard. Mark Hilly then on the back of the championship leader. Surely not into turn 1. That wouldn't be a very wise decision. Hilly lifts out and now will try an opportunity somewhere else. First major passing opportunity you come to at this track is this corner right here at turn 4, but evidently not much room to get it done there for Mark Hilly. Thomas Searle and Campbell Adams have had problems. They're both falling down the order. So the man who was on provisional pole for much of qualifying, it looks like his race is just about done here. We're about to see what happened into the first corner. Is this a case of getting too much curb again and spinning? Whoa! Yep!
Goodness me. And piling in there through turn 3. That was pretty grisly there through the first chicane. Oh, Hilly looks down the inside there. I thought he was going to go for it. Down into
VSC
turn 10.
Again. VSC's been called again by race control. There's more crashes. I've just seen it in sim. So I think the drivers will be slowing down in just a couple of moments. Man, this, I honestly, I understand the decision to go for the feature format, but it seems it hasn't done anything to bring the chaos down. Potter comes into the pits again.
Oh, that's interesting, because you shouldn't have needed to pit again. This is what's happened through the middle sector here. Is it? Seems to be disappeared. Does Heppel, but Potter here, why is he coming in? I mean, he must have damage or something, because first of all, he didn't quite look himself on the restart, I must say. But second of all, you don't need to stop twice in this race tonight. It's just a one-stop feature race, and Potter comes out in 21st place with suddenly a lot of work to do. So this is quite bad news. Campbell Adams' difficult evening continues after qualifying second. He's had no front wing, and obviously therefore a difficult time getting through as well. as a result. So much damage being picked up, and oh no, he is going to get it through. But yeah, Campbell Adams has had a very difficult evening since after qualifying second place. Anyway.
No, I've just gone back to see Kieran Potter's in-lap, and I don't see any damage on the car, so he's certainly not pitted for that. He went up on the jacks in the pit box as well, so evidently a tyre change happening there. It's another stop of 7.3 seconds for him. A real mystery. Why has Kieran Potter pitted again?
Well, that is going to be a mystery in this race, unfortunately. We're not going to find out until the end, I would imagine, unless he gets on the podium, and we'll talk to him. But Eskandari leads the field around 15 minutes gone, and I'm not sure we're going to get a restart this time, unless we are. I don't know. Doesn't look like it.
Still stopped out of turn 3, so I don't think the track's clear yet.
No, okay. So Searle will be off the lead lap here. Marcus Konitska might be given a lap back here, as the guys stay to the left hand side. We'll see him steaming up the right hand side in a moment, but it's worth pointing out actually that even though we're talking about Sebastian Eskandari like he is a championship contender, he did point out to us last week that he didn't completely confirm it, maybe it was just his turn of phrase, but he said he probably isn't going to be here for the last 2 rounds of the championship, which makes it very difficult to catch Kieran Potter when you're not here. With Brodie McConkey not here today and therefore losing a lot of points to Kieran Potter, potentially, then you're looking at the likes of Tom Donoghue and Jackson Rihanna to gain points. But Rihanna's in 7th, Donoghue down in 17th at the moment. Yes, they're both in front of Potter, but they're also both over 170 points back. So at the moment, the championship is a bit of a secondary thing to all of this at the moment, with Sebastian Eskandari leading the field the moment, but not really a championship contender, and those other championship contenders not really up towards the front.
He is taking points away from other championship contenders by being up the front, though, worth pointing out. So while he's here, he's certainly something to consider. Potter, for his troubles, has re-emerged out of pit lane in 21st. So he's up behind Madeline McGee and Chris Little at the moment. He has got a long road ahead of him now if he wants to make his way back to the front. We are under half an hour remaining in the race as well. The first third of this event has been completed. We're going to be restarting at the end of this lap, so Potter needs to get up to speed quick smart.
Absolutely. So what is he going to do out of these final turns as Max Boost complete this 1, 2, 3? They'll hope to go on and win from here. As he comes through the final sector now, Eskandari waits and waits a little bit longer before getting underway in the next couple of moments. See if he just goes at the final corner like Sonaty did. Hopefully he doesn't spin around in front of the field again, because that did sort of set the fire for carnage on the start of this or the restart of this race. He pulls wide for the final turn and just go through the final turn, but it's controlled this time around, and so back under green, Eskandari leads this race comfortably in front of the others. We should have 20. Oh, wow, what a snap that was. Massive catch from Sebastian Eskandari as he comes over the curves for the first time. They seem to be causing havoc tonight. Belt to the outside of Hilly for 4th place on this restart. Round the outside for Proline, gives him the inside for the next turn, but then Hilly will be on the inside for the next 2 if he can stay there. Is he still alongside? No. And that's a great pass from Ryan Bell to get up to 4th place.
Excellent move. He placed his car exactly right. Jet Saragi getting a front row to all of that, and he's gotten a better run out of turn 7 than Mark Hilly has. He'll pull alongside, or will he? He's actually not going to go for it. In the real world, there's a passing rule specifically for that right-hander. You can't be alongside anyone on your way in. You have to wait for the hairpin to make the move, and that's what Saragi's done here, but it's not quite enough to dispatch Hilly. He'll have the inside for the next corners.
Yeah, and Hilly will stay in 5th place here in front of Saragi quite nicely there. Then you get Jackson Rihanna, who does need to gain some places from here if he wants to really capitalise on Kieran Potter being down the field. Potter, for his part, by the way, is up to 20th place. He's made up just 1 from that pit stop there that he rather inexplicably made through the caution we just saw, the virtual safety car that we just saw. He's got a lot of work to do from back there, But at the moment, spin! Saragi spins. Rihanna's going to gain 1 place, and Saragi misses everything.
Good job to get on the brakes nice and fast and avoid getting into the tyre bundles, but he might make contact with them just trying to get going again. They are dropping like flies here. Fast drivers at the front of the field making some very strange, uncharacteristic errors at a circuit which is still very new to everyone. Adelaide only came to iRacing in the previous season build, so everyone's still really getting used to it here on the sim, I think.
Yeah, it certainly seems that way. Based on what we've seen today. Stevens on Heppel into turn 10. Heppel defends the inside line and keeps the place. In the background, Donahue gaining a place on Jackie Chung now, so that's important for the championship as well as Tom Donahue moves up the field. He's one of the contenders this season, although increasingly less positions in front of Potter, who's also got himself in front of Chris Little and Alexei Watson now. This is Thomas Searle through the first chicane. On his own completely. Goes way too deep and flies into the wall there. Well, is Thomas Searle back to the pit lane, or is he still off the racetrack? He is off the racetrack and trying to get back going again. These guys will be approaching on him quite quickly if they're not careful. And Thomas Searle has not yet... he's actually going to get it back. Well, that's quite impressive, actually. Or is he? I don't see him.
I think that incident we just saw was what actually brought out the most recent VSC, because I saw similar damage on the rear for Searle that I saw during the VSC.
Okay. Interesting. Well, either way, in live pictures, he's also sort of trundling around with a meatball and not going very quickly at the moment. This is the battle for third place. Kane Ryder doing a good job to protect his teammates at the moment. Eskandari leading this race by a long way, and Davison also being protected by Kane Ryder. But how long is it going to be before Ryan Bell and Mark Healy force their way through here as we approach half distance in this race already? Haven't had too much racing, to be honest. 14 laps only completed now as they come over the line again. In the background, Rihanna gets past Healy because Healy has made an error here. So Jackson Rihanna is up into the top 5.
That he is. There was a problem for Tristan McLaren as well. He spun in front of a whole group of cars. He and Giuliano Sinise have fallen to the back, and there's a whole host of mechanical black flags there. Campbell Adams, Madeline McGee, Chris Little, and Giuliano Sinise, all with the dreaded meatball.
Oh dear, well, this has got disaster written all over it, hasn't it? Further back in the field. Into 12, a spin, a slide, and contact. Quite harsh that so many have got meatballs through that, actually, but so many pit stops happening back there now, and so many out of contention in this race. Kieran Potter is 16th position now as a result of all that, still continuing to pick up positions. 10-second time penalty to Scott Bartime, meantime, on it for an incident with Madeline McGee on lap 1, by the way. Race control with a lot to look through in this race, as you can imagine, as Ryan Bell gets to the outside now of Kane Ryder through the final turn. See if he sticks to the inside here into turn 1 or not. No, he's not able to this time round, but he certainly looks quicker than Kane Ryder, to be honest, and he's looking to work his way through.
Yeah, he carries some nice momentum around the hairpin there. I think a pass will happen sooner rather than later. Very aggressive entry into the staircase section of the lap here. 3 90-degree corners in a row, make it 4 when you get to the next right-hander. It really is a rhythm section of the circuit. You're trying to ride those bumps, get the best exit you can, and make sure you don't overshoot the next corner. A very technical challenge as part of this very nice circuit layout. Well, Ryan Bell then picks up the slipstream of Kane Ryder. He's not quite close enough for a run into the hairpin. Super wide entry in here. That's why you see so many passes, but it narrows up substantially on the exit. So if you're going to make a move into that hairpin, you've got to make sure you're alongside by the apex. Yeah, indeed. This is the battle in the silver class, by the way. Dan Ackland leading in 8th place at the moment. Then Tom McInnes is in 10th place. They're in 2nd. Anthony Bate is the leader of the championship in the silver class at the moment, with Tom McInnes only 8 points behind. So the fact that they're separated by 3 positions at the moment is very positive for Tom McInnes, who, as things stand, would regain the championship lead by 1 point.
in the silver class. It's a very, very exciting silver class championship at the moment, but it could all change with this group. Mark Heppel's at the front of it, in front of Ackland. Then you've got Stevens separating Ackland and McKinns. Migo Costa-Texeira there as well with Tom Donoghue, and then Scott Bartine at the back of this group. But of course Bartine is going to lose 10 seconds at the end of this race when that penalty is applied. But what a silver class championship it is for the second season in a row. It was separated by mere points last time as Migo Costa-Texeira beat Alexei Watson in the final round at the Bend, and we're seeing it again here with Tom McKinns as it stands, taking that championship lead by a single point, although it'll be more than that now because Potter's just got in front of Anthony Bate for 14th place.
Yep, it looks like he's making his way up nicely as Kieran Potter, but McKinns is more focused on what's ahead of him right now. He's got Alex Stevens there in the gold class up ahead, and then Daniel Ackland leading that silver class, as you mentioned. It seems like McKinns struggling a bit for traction there in the final sector. It's such a difficult circuit to get consistent clean laps around. The lap is over way sooner than you think, and when you're driving in this type of car, the corners come thick and fast. At least in a supercar, you have time to prepare for the next apex. You can't really say the same for these drivers.
No, indeed. Through the middle sector, this is by far the most interesting group in the field at the moment, headed by Heppel. Then Ackland, who is under pressure from Stevens here in the 8th place, and Stevens has got a good run out the right-hander here. He pulls alongside, coming into turn 9, and he's going to get through. Ackland's going to let him have that one on the inside line, so Stevens moves through on the inside line quite nicely. As meantime, a penalty comes in, 5 seconds for Matthew Vince for an incident with Ryan Borg on lap 3 earlier on this race. For reference, by the way, we're coming up to lap 18 at the moment, so plenty of penalties going to be coming in for the next few. But by the way, 3.5 seconds behind this group, Kieran Potter about to join in. This could be pretty dangerous for the championship leader.
Certainly could. Pace difference between Kieran Potter and these drivers. Well, for the moment, it looks like the ultimate pace for Potter is anywhere from half a second to a full second faster than what any of these drivers can manage. So keep a close eye on that. Brendan Bonacci, you'll notice, has a mechanical black flag to his name. He is missing his front left wheel as it stands. Ryan Bell's dramas, meanwhile, well, actually opposite of drama, because he's just made an incredible move there on Kane Ryder to get around him, and he'll be up into 3rd place. Bell's having a good time at the moment. At least one Pro Line driver's having a good time. Yeah,
absolutely. That's the pass we saw a little while ago for Bell. He's under pressure from Kane Ryder again, though, and Jackson Rihanna has joined them here. So Rihanna is looking for a podium as they come through the final sector. That's bit of side-by-side a little bit further back. I don't think there was a pass there, though. Rihanna does need these positions, really. Potter at the moment, if he were to finish where he is, would only be scoring 33 points, but Rihanna could get 81 if he finishes up in 3rd. That'll be a 48-point gain in the championship, and yes, that would still leave him a whopping 131 behind. Oh, and he spins! Rihanna spins!
No!
Oh, and he's in the wall as well! And Hilly joins him! The two championship contenders from season 3 have crashed together through the opening chicanes here at Adelaide. And suddenly, Potter's going to be in front of them. Rihanna's got a meatball. Hilly's got a meatball. 3 positions for Potter. 3 positions for everybody. And championship chances for Rihanna, slim as they were, getting slimmer with that accident there through the first chicane.
And both of them made the same error separately on their own. Too much curb at turn 2. I mean, it doesn't look like much of a curb when you're driving over it. It doesn't feel like much of a curb either, but it throws the car off in any direction it pleases if you hit it even slightly wrong. That's disaster for Rihanna and for Hilly. I don't think they'll be taking much further part in this one if they don't get the repairs done quick sharp. I believe there is a fast repair available, so if they've held on to it, then they'll at least have that to consider.
There is a fast repair available, but hopefully they haven't used it already. Sometimes you can either accidentally use it, or indeed they needed it earlier. But I mean, that was such a great chance for Rihanna to gain a lot of points, and it's gone away very, very quickly here. As long as Kieran Potter does not make an error in this race and fall down the field as a result of it, he will be leading this championship by a very long way at the end of the day. Yes, Sebastian Eskandari might well be close, but his final points total will be known at the end of this race, and that's going to be difficult to overcome. Here comes Kane Ryder on Ryan Bell here, looking left and right. He got overtook so easily I thought it would be over, but Ryder's back to the inside again here, and he slides down the inside, down at turn 10. A great pass from Kane Ryder, and he is up in front of Ryan Bell now, and it's a max boost 1-2-3 once more.
Lovely pass once again, and we'll see if he can hold on to that. Bell's going to fight back at the final corner, and Ryder gets onto the grass on the way in. He's going to try the over-under through the hairpin. Doesn't quite work, doesn't get the momentum that he needs, and he'd have to stay behind through the first chicane anyway. When you're that close to the car in front, it can be really hard to pick your line through it. That's exactly what happened to Rihanna before. He was just too close to the car behind to realize his true trajectory through that corner. Move a bit further back to Scott Bartine, who has Kieran Potter now ahead of him. Potter making up another spot here in his quest to break back into the top 10. Let's see how many more he moves past.
Yeah, indeed, he needs to get... Well, he doesn't need to get through with these guys, but he certainly needs to take no risks in what he's doing here, because it's fraught with risks, this group. And it's now 4th place, of course, because everyone's been promoted 2 positions. So Hepeloni just in front of Stevens, 4th. Stevens will have a look into turn 10, and so will Donoghue on Ackland. Tom McKinn's got through on Ackland recently. Oh, and he's gone wide here for Tom McKinn's. So it's 3 wide nearly. Donoghue on the outside through turn 11 and 12. He's going to get away with that, but he'll be in front of Ackland now. And Tom McKinn's will be clear in the lead of the silver class. Miguel Costa Texera tries to follow Dan Ackland through. And this is all getting very, very busy now. Kieran Potter, rather, is going to be let through by his teammate there. That looked very dangerous, Potter, for a moment, but he's now back into the top 10 here as they come over the curbs. And McKinn's has a bigger silver class race lead than for a while. Down the inside goes Potter on Ackland now. He's very efficiently working his way through this field.
Yep, helped out by his teammate, who then taps around Daniel Ackland. Oh, and that's going to involve the other car there of Scott Bartine. Oh, gets going just in time for a couple more cars to arrive on the scene. Jackie Chung finding his way past there, though not without a slight brown pants moment. And just like that, the pack is broken up. Now Donoghue fighting with McInnes. This is going to give more of a chance to Potter. He'll be gaining time hand over fist with this side-by-side.
Although Donoghue gets through a lot easier this time. McInnes is now a long way in front of Anthony Bate, and therefore leading this championship in the silver class now with what would be a race win. He is teammates with Potter though, so he will lose some points now as he lets him through. That will be just 3 points lost, but that's fine as far as letting Potter through, not least because they're teammates, but also because it's not very hurtful anyway. Bartine and Ackland both into the pit lane will both give Bate a couple of positions though, and so it continues to get closer. The twists and turns continue on, but this group finally is disintegrated now because Ackland was doing such a good job at the front of it, defending, that it was sort of creating a train behind him, but that's very much over now. Potter's going to have to do this one by one, but to be honest, given the fact that one of his main rival, or the only main rival really who's still in front of him is Tom Donoghue, and he's right there, I think Potter can strike this off as a very good day, whether he gets past Donoghue in the next 12 minutes or not.
Yeah, I think he's more than happy to cruise home from here. Obviously, he'll try his best to make up as many positions as he can, but it's not going to be the end of the world if he doesn't. I mentioned earlier on in the race that the first retirement was Alexi Watson. Well, Watson has managed to get back out there as Tom Donoghue hits the wall coming out of, I think that's turn 13, and he will get back going.
No.
Yeah. That's the point where you need to stay put.
And he was perfectly in the middle of the road as well, which wasn't helpful. He just went slightly too wide. Clipped the... Yeah, and and he's trying to get turned back round here quickly, but then he's in the. This is scary. This part here. Oh my word! Very, very close to, and he smacks the wall again coming out of the turn. Well, this is turning into a dream day for Kieran Potter. With 2 rounds to go, he'd need to be 250 odd points ahead. I don't think he's quite going to be that far, but it won't be far away. He's not going to gain quite enough points for that. He needs to be in the top 3 anyway. But this is just this is dreamland at the moment for Kieran Potter, and I think the chances of him not sewing up the title next week are actually lower than they are if he did, because he is in 7th here. Donahue is down in 17th now. Jackson Rihanna all the way down in 20th. Those are the only 2 who can realistically contend here. Brody McConkey's not going to lose that many points, I suppose, but needs an almighty week next week to close in. This is Kieran Potter's to lose now as the others fall by the wayside.
Certainly is, and I think it just speaks to how consistency and safety are key to success at Adelaide. To finish my point from earlier, the case of Alexi Watson, at the end of lap 1, he was towed back to pit lane. He had no chance of making up positions, but all of the chaos since has meant that Watson is back out there in 11th, 4 places up from where he started. It's an impressive recovery.
Yeah, absolutely. Alexi Watson so close in the Silver Class Championship last season. He's 4th in this series this time round, 75 points behind Anthony Bate though, which is probably too far. Miguel Costa Texeira, last season's champion, is 93 behind. I know I said to him when he won the race the other week that he knows as good as anybody, but that Silver Class Championship can turn around very quickly, especially towards the end. But that's not going to happen this time round. I wouldn't expect. Lots of penalties coming in, by the way. Matthew Vince has got a 20-second time penalty for effectively for causing that first safety car with a dangerous incident recovery from race control. So that's 25 seconds added to his race time now. Marcus Knitska's 5-second time penalty for a safety car procedure infringement, and Todd Parks 5 seconds for an incident with Matthew Vince also on lap 3. So Parks has got a penalty for causing the incident with that put Vince in the scenario. Then Vince has got a 20-second penalty for rejoining in the path of Vernier, I think it was, and indeed causing that first safety car. So lots of penalties coming in still, but still lots of incidents to be looking through as well. But none for any of the leaders. Sebastian Eskandari is comfortable at the front of this race, and again, it's a shame really that he's not been able to be here for more rounds this season. He missed round 2 and 3, which could have given him a good chance in this championship. The fact he's going to miss the last 2 rounds as well is going to be bad for him as well. But it's going to be scary, I think, to see where he finishes at the end of this season. Having only done half the rounds, I think he's still going to have a very good finish at the end of this season.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that summation. Honestly, Eskandari's lost none of his supreme pace and consistency that got him the championship in such dominant fashion last season. Just makes you wonder, if he was here for all of the rounds, what kind of championship picture we'd be looking at. Donahue going to make up a position then over Ackland, back up into 17th there on the way into the fast right-hander, and that's going to be, I think, small consolation with only 7 minutes remaining on the timer.
Well, indeed. It's not long to go tonight from Adelaide. I've got to say I have enjoyed having this circuit on the calendar this season. It's been chaotic, but what else would you expect from this circuit? And I think Race Control probably made, on the organisers indeed, probably made the right decision in making this a feature round as well. I mean, can you imagine having the first 15 minutes like what we saw here as a sprint race, and then having to restart all over again and do another 30 minutes of a different race with everybody with a lot of ambition at the start of race 2 and all sorts or whatever. That would have been carnage, I think. So they probably made the right choice. And it's just continuing to happen here. I think Watson has just had some sort of problem here. Ackland's dropped down the field as well, so it's still all happening as Heppel defends from Potter into the final turn. We'll see what happened to Watson here. I saw him dropping down the field. So why was that? Slides and indeed spins. Not quite into the wall out of turn 6, but he will drop places as a result of this. He's being very careful not to reverse right into the field, and And we can say thank goodness for that. Inside for Potter. He looks, and that was late. Heppel there saw him late, and he just about gave him the room, but Potter around the outside through turn 5. He's going to get the inside at 6 and 7, and he's going to get through. Very nice move from Potter. Even though he doesn't really need these positions, he is still wanting to race and still making moves. He's up into 6th position now.
A lot of trust, a lot of respect has to be given when you're going side by side through a corner like that. It's all well and good making a move like that at a dedicated racetrack with plenty of runoff and the walls far away, but at a street circuit where you don't have a sight line through the corner and the exit is so tight, you really just got to focus on survival over everything else. And you're right, it was quite a late move there from Kieran Potter, probably a bit too late for my money, but Mark Heppel, to his credit, saw Potter coming and opened the steering just enough at exactly the right time.
Yeah, exactly. Credit has to go to Heppel there, I think, for that. McKinns is defending from Miguel Costa-Texeira in the background for the silver class win here. 5 minutes to go. We do have a class win to fight over now, and these are important points, as I say, and keep repeating for Tom McKinns. At the moment, he's in 8th position, 51 points to his name tonight. Bates is currently 12th, and therefore getting 12 point less than that, 39. So he would lead the championship, McKinns, by just 4 points. Now, he can afford to lose this position, but he would only be leading the championship by a single point, and he wouldn't have a class win to his name, so he will very much want to keep this 8th position.
Yeah, but Miguel Costa-Texeira, the reigning silver class champion, so he's got some form to back himself up and a few things to prove besides. Regardless, I hope that the teammates don't race each other too hard, because right now it is Proline 1 and 2 in silver, with Max Boost running 1 and 2 overall, and in gold. It's looking like a nice fight between the teammates as things stand. They just got to be careful to avoid mistakes. That tyre bundle jutting out on the exit there is one of the scariest spots on this track.
Yeah, it certainly is. We've seen it cause an accident and indeed a safety car already here tonight. As out of the final turn, Texeira again is just in behind McKinns, but not challenging him yet over the curves for the first chicane. I wonder whether there's going to be team games happening here or whether these guys are probably going to fit for the win. It's going to be fascinating to find out over the next few moments. He does look like he's putting the pressure on at the moment. Does Texeira, but let's see as they come through the double right-hander now. Turn 7, here it is, and out onto the back straight again. It's a good run out of turn 7 and 8 for Texeira, and into turn 9 he's going to be very close, almost defending the inside line here, Tom McKinns. It's flat out in these cars, so you can do that. And he switches sides. There's a bit of miscommunication between the two there. Texeira thought that McKinns would be defending the inside, and McKinns thought he was already there, so he moved to the racing line again. They both moved at the same time to the left, and in the end Tom McKinns gets away with that. They both get away with without contact there, because they definitely miscommunicated there, to my mind.
Yeah, that's something you'd ideally like to avoid as Texeira gets up the inside of McKinns now, and that's going to be the lead changed in silver. These guys are actually making up good time on Mark Heppel ahead despite their fighting. Heppel's not too far away. You'll see him as the white car in the background a shot at some points. There's Heppel just up there turning into turn 4. Let's see what Texeira and McKinns can do to make up another position each. They could be looking at top 7, top 8 finish.
I'm not sure they're quite going to get there personally, but let's wait and see. Potter's much more likely to overtake Stevens for me, but let's see. At the moment, by the way, Texeira, for reference, would be the race, if the race were to end now, would be 82 points off of the Silver Class Championship lead with 2 rounds to go. That does feel like a bridge too far, perhaps, in for last season's champion. McKinns will be 1 point in front of Bate. There goes Potter, diving down the inside, putting Stevens off, really, turning in for turn 10, and Stevens gives up that top 5 position. Kieran Potter is back into the top 5 again, and barring an error, he's going to be leading this championship by a very, very long way. Sebastian Eskandari, yes, will be closing in, but we heard last week that he wasn't going to be here for the last 2 rounds, and so it doesn't really matter about Eskandari. It matters much more about Donahue and Rihanna, who are in 15th and 19th place respectively.
Yeah, not ideal for either of our outside contenders there. Now that Kieran Potter has passed Alex Stevens, he shouldn't have much pressure on him. Donahue still has plenty of racing to do, though. Just made his way past Alexi Watson to get back into 15th place. It's been a really rough time for Donahue, one of many drivers to visit the pits twice in this one. All he can do now is just hope to survive to the end. With 47 seconds left on the timer, this should be the white flag coming out for Sebastian Eskandari. He's just kept that pace metronomically consistent at the front of this field, running mid 113s, low 113s. His best lap, a 112.5, which no one else has been able to get near.
Yeah. Well, this has been much more like the Eskandari of old. Getting pole position earlier. He set the fastest lap quite comfortably. In fact, 3 or 4 tenths quicker than anybody else in terms of the fastest lap. And he's taken home the race win as well. The maximum 102 points being taken here tonight. He hasn't managed to do that yet in any race this season. In any feature race, that is, taking the maximum 102. He's about to do that right now as he comes into the final sector of this race. Adelaide's debut in the Gripline Super Formula Lights Championship, and it's certainly delivered something special here tonight. It's delivered also a Sebastian Eskandari victory in what could be his last race of this season. Teixeira's got a slowdown in the Silver Class Championship, by the way, so McKinn's has got a chance on the last lap to maybe gain that place. There they are, coming towards the back straight. We'll check back in with them in a second, but Sebastian Eskandari is going to come through the final turn right now and take the checkered flag here at Adelaide. He wins round 6 in the Gripline Super Formula Lights Championship here from Adelaide. Dominant victory for Eskandari. He takes 3 of the last 4 races in this championship. What about McKinn's and Teixeira? They are side by side for the race win in the silver class. McKinn's challenges down towards turn 10. He's on the outside in time for 11 and 12. He's going to have to dive at the final turn if this is going to be a silver class victory. And a bonus 3 points to his name to extend the championship lead. Oh, he's going to switch to the inside outside. He goes in the end. Teixeira goes deep and he's going to get the run off the corner. It's Tom McKenzie. He can't quite get there. I don't think the run to the line's not long enough. And Miguel Costa Teixeira holds on for silver class honours for the second time this season. He finishes in front of McKinn's only just. That was very, very tight, and tighter than it should have been. Teixeira got a slowdown on the last lap that invited McKinn's back to having a go. He couldn't quite get past. And in the background, Jackie Chung has got no front wing or front left tyre. If Bate gets past, he'll retake the championship lead or hold on to the championship lead in silver. He can't quite do it. Chung comes over the line with barely a car hanging together. And it sets up a wonderful last 2 rounds in the silver class as Anthony Bate loses the championship lead tonight by 1 point.
Oh, this has turned out to be quite a crucial round, much like Miami earlier in the season. When the walls get close, the chaos reigns, and I mean, it gave us some great fights. Teixeira versus McKinn's, that was an incredible fight to watch, and certainly hoping that we see more of that in the last 2 rounds here. Well, it's Sebastian Eskandari who wins. Domination at the front, 11.5 seconds in front of Danny Davis and Ryan Bell, who rounds out the top 3. Kane Ryder and Kieran Potter round out the top 5, with Alex Stephen, Mark Heppel next. Miguel Costa Teixeira was in 8th position, just behind. He only just held on from Tom McKinn's there. Jet Saragi rounds out the top 10. Jackie Chung was next. Anthony Bate, who loses that championship lead. Tristan McLaren only just behind him, and so was Tom Donahue in the end, who loses points in this championship. Alexei Watson and Jack Monroe, then the last ones on the lead lap. Dan Ackland, Brendan Bonacci and Jackson Rihanna, the last ones to finish within a reasonable time. Marcus Knitska rounds out the top 20, 5 laps down. 21st was Nathan Verney, also 5 down, with Chris Little there next to Gennaro Sinese, who spun on that restart, of course. Also not finishing, or at least finishing a long way down. Scott Bartime, Mark Healy, Madeline McGee, Campbell Adams, Thomas Searle, Ryan Borg, Matthew Vince, Todd Parks, all down towards the bottom of the field. Well, this is the only one we're waiting so far. We'll chat to the Silver Class winner, shall we? Miguel Costa Teixeira joins us now. Miguel, welcome in. Congratulations on holding on to a Silver Class victory here tonight, just in front of Tom McKinn's. Just tell us about that last lap there, as you seemed to have it in the bag, and then a slowdown brought it all back into doubt again.
Yeah, look, it was spicy there. I had I got that slowdown. I was pushing to get Heppel. It was funny. Anthony Bate literally 2 laps before said, "Bro, don't risk the silver win. Just see if you can get Heppel, but don't compromise it." And then on the last lap, I get the first slowdown I got in the freaking race, which is a bit frustrating. But no, look, it was. I literally got home from Bathurst 12-hour 4 hours ago. So I've probably done not even half an hour of practice before this. So to get this silver win's pretty cool, pretty special. I was pretty surprised by it, but no, I like these street tracks, so bring them on.
Yeah, I can imagine that there are some in the similar situation as well. I mean, how did you sort of approach or indeed get through the first half of this race? Because there was I didn't actually see where you were on the opening half of the race until you sort of appeared towards the front end of the silver class. 2 safety cars early on, lots of incidents happening around as well. What was going on around you in that first half of the race? How did you get through that opening period of instability there?
Yeah, that opening period was tough. Look, I stuffed qualifying as I always seem to do. I really should have probably been around this 10th position in qual, but I had spun myself on the first lap and then got crashed into by another Cup 1 spinner. So I lost 4 or 5 laps in qual. So but that first couple laps were spicy. Like we got pretty lucky. We had a bit of a pro line train going there with T-Mac, Bate and Searle and myself. So we sort of worked together and just try to navigate the first few corners. And we had a spotter this week to yell out any incidents. So it was pretty good. And yeah, look, the safety cars sort of jumped us a little bit up, but really not that many spots. I underfueled the car slightly, but not enough to really get me a position. And it was just a matter of survival. Like, my teammate Bates had a crash and Searle too. So it was really just about survival today. And if you had a little bit of pace, then you were going to do well.
Well, congratulations on finishing first in the silver class here tonight, Miguel. And thanks for chatting to us as always as well. No
worries. Thank you, team.
Thanks very much. That's Miguel Costa-Texeiro wins in the silver class, and the gold class drivers have now slowly. I mean, they took their time, but they've worked their way into the waiting room. So let's bring them in. The race winner Sebastian Eskandari tonight joins us now. Seb, welcome in. Congratulations on a race win tonight. Just tell us what it was like around here at Adelaide. There was so much going on around. You were leading for quite a long time towards the end there, but just how much of a challenge was this round?
Yeah, hi guys, thanks for having me on tonight. Well, Adelaide's a very tricky track already, and then just adding these cars with so much downforce that can barely take curbs. That's just the equation for drama. That's just going to have lots of crashes left, right and centre. So we're pretty good to avoid lots, but we still had a few that resulted in those 2 VSCs, but yeah.
And it did cause a lot of drama, including on one of those safety car restarts when you were in second behind Sinese, who spun out the final turn coming up to the restart. Just tell us what happened there and what was going through your mind as you were sort of became the race leader coming towards the line, obviously after restarting in second initially.
Oh, well, yeah, he just didn't keep a constant speed. He kept going, stopping, and then he went, so I went, and then he stopped at the apex, so I rammed him. But I didn't mean to do it. It wasn't intentional. He just stopped, and I couldn't really avoid him. But, yeah, it was sort of just after that damage limitation. And then after figuring out a penalty that I might possibly get, I just kept trying to push harder and harder every lap to build a bit more of a gap. And I eventually did towards the end, so I think it'll be all right.
Yeah, indeed, the penalty you've been given has not been big enough to take away the race win, so you will keep that, as far as I'm aware. And just to check that nothing's changed, this is going to be the last round we're seeing you this season, is it?
No, I got that confused. I'm here for the last 2 rounds, so I guess see what happens.
Oh, you are here?
Yeah, so
okay.
I can now go for back-to-back.
Okay, well, there we go. We'll recalibrate ourselves in that case. But congratulations on winning tonight here from Adelaide. And it turns out we will see you next week. So we look forward to that. See you again next week.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
Thanks very much. That's Sebastian Eskandari springing a surprise on us. The end there. Now I do actually do some maths, but later. But that can wait. Danny Davison finishes in second place here tonight, pretty comfortably, and that joins us now as well. Danny, welcome in. Congratulations on a second place finish here tonight from Adelaide. just how did you get through tonight's race as well? There was so much carnage going on around, and in the end, it's a max boost 1-2. How did you get to the second place tonight?
Yeah, thanks, guys. Very happy to finish second. I would have taken that before the race. Didn't expect it, to be honest, because don't really enjoy this track. It's so hard. Always worried about crashing. I think the mayhem at the restart sort of helped. Then I got some clean air. That's how I got sort of track position. So yeah, it looked like mayhem the whole race. But yeah, that's sort of what made my race tonight, looks like.
Yeah, indeed. And on that safety car restart there, by the way, when Eskandari had that contact with Sanese, who spun round through the final turn, you seemed to be the only one really who didn't hesitate there and just sort of went for it and took the lead briefly. What was sort of going through your mind in those moments there when all that was going on around you?
I just saw a gap and just punched the throttle. And that's about it. Just went for it.
Simple as that,
Not too much thinking. Not too much thinking.
Because sometimes not thinking is a good idea. And sixth place for you in the championship. Just you might have actually moved up now, actually, because of some guys off in front of you. How have you sort of found this season? We haven't talked to you for a while about this season. It's been a while since you've been on the podium, but there have been some consistent top 10s in there. There's only one race where you finished outside the top 10 this season. So has this been a good season for you?
Sort of been up and down. I haven't been too happy, to be honest. Up and down, inconsistent. Last few races are sort of a little bit better. Jumped up in the championship. I guess anything's possible with a couple rounds to go. Just trying to not make mistakes, because that's the key. Every race somebody makes a mistake almost. Other than Seb,
absolutely.
So just trying to keep it clean.
Yeah, well, congrats on finishing in second tonight, Danny, and thanks for chatting to us at the end as well.
Thanks, guys. See you next week. Cheers.
Thanks very much, Danny Davison. Second place in front in the end of Ryan Bell, who gets up to third place at the end of that race. Ryan, welcome in. Congratulations on getting up to third in the end there. You were the only one of those who finished on the podium to actually have to make some overtakes to get to where you were by the end of the race in that final run after what turned out to be the final safety car restart of that race just before half distance. Tell us how you were able to make such passes in sort of without the help of a safety car or anything, because it did seem to be a bit of a struggle for some, but you were able to quite efficiently work your way through the field in that race. Just how were you able to do that tonight?
To be honest, I was just taking it real easy and just picking my moment. I didn't want to push real hard and then make a mistake, so I was just cruising really and waiting for the others to have a little moment and let me get past. So it was good, but I had wheel damage for the last 20 minutes of the race because I hit that wall by the pit lane. Man, it was hard, but I got there in the end. Yeah, certainly. And this is your second podium of the season. How have you been finding this season? You were seventh place coming into the championship, to this round in the championship. You might have moved up as a result of this round, but what is the target for the rest, and how pleased are you with the first 6 rounds? To be honest, the first 6 rounds, I feel like I've missed a lot of opportunities just by mistakes of my own. But yeah, I mean, heading forward, I just want to keep ticking away, trying to get back up that championship order. Maybe the top 5. I don't know if I've still got it. But yeah, that's my goal.
Well, congrats on finishing on the podium here tonight, Ryan, and thanks for chatting to us at the end of the race as well.
Thank you.
Thanks very much. That's Ryan Bell, who finishes in third place. Well, we're going to have to recalibrate ourselves a bit, Reece, because Sebastian Eskandari, it turns out, is going to be here for the last 2 rounds. So these will be the championship standings, I think, pretty much without exception. Kieran Potter is still going to be leading them, yes, with 121 points over Sebastian Eskandari, but Eskandari needs to gain 20 points or more next week, and this will go to a final round. Danny Davis then is in third position. Perhaps he's even already too far away, but certainly realistically that is probably the case. Then you get to Brody McConkey, who's dropped to 4th place because he had to miss tonight. Ryan Bell does move up to 5th. Donahue and Rihanna will, I think, be more disappointed than anybody, finishing 6th and 7th place at the end tonight. And in the silver class, McKinns and Bate are only 1 point apart going into the final 2 rounds of this championship. Suddenly, both classes, it seems, are up for grabs in the final 2 rounds.
And don't we love to see it? I was sort of hoping that we would end up being wrong about Eskandari his projected absence. It's good to see that he'll be there and be giving a good run to Kieran Potter, and that gap in silver class is certainly going to be nice to see next round. Jackie Chung moving up a position as well, further back down. A rough race for many drivers. You see the amount of red in those standings. It'll be difficult to deal with, but fortunately we are returning to conventional racetracks. Next week we'll be at the Nurburgring, which should provide a fun time for all.
Absolutely. It should be the fun round. It should be it is going to be the final sprint round of this season. Tonight's race indeed was the last 45-minute race of this season feature race. But so that's the last sprint round coming up next week. Be live same time, same place here on TrackSpotTV. Plenty more penalties to come through, by the way, so we will update you on that next week when we come live again, see if there's any race result changes, because there is certainly a lot going on in the sewage room at the moment. There may be some changes to the order. So we'll update you on all of that as we come live next week for the 7th round of the Gripline Super Formula Lights Championship. Big thanks to everyone who's been tuned in tonight. I've been Ian O'Leary alongside Rhys Gardner in the commentary box. And until we see you all next week from the Nurburgring, it's goodbye for now.